Hey, thanks for tuning in to another tutorial. We are going to be discussing the SPRM rings today, and I am going to be using this Tikka T3X Arctic rifle. We're going to be mounting up a Leupold Mark 6 in our 34mm 1.375 height rings today. First things first, make sure you have the necessary equipment. We're going to be using a selectable inch-pound Wheeler fat wrench to achieve our proper torque settings, and then we're also going to be using the Wheeler bubble levels, as well as optional blue Loctite. You don't have to use blue Loctite. If you want the added security of Loctite, go ahead. Make sure you use the low yield blue version though, not the red, otherwise you'll most likely ruin your fasteners. So without further ado, first things first, we're going to establish our eye relief. And how I suggest doing that is loosely mount up your bases where they need to go appropriately. Drop your scope into the base, and then you're going to want to actually close your eyes when you shoulder the rifle, and you're going to want to achieve your cheek onto a natural cheek weld with the stock. So I'm going to lift that up and close my eyes while I come onto the stock, open them, and then I'm going to want to move the scope to the appropriate position so that I have a natural cheek weld and an appropriate eye relief. And on this scope, that's roughly 3 inches. There are specifications for every optic out there, so depending on the optic that you're running, you could check the manufacturer specifications to see what the eye relief range is. Eye relief range does vary with power, so as you increase your magnification, that's going to change your eye relief. Some people set their power to the midpoint of the range, so this being a 1 to 6 power scope, you could adjust it to a 3 power to do that, but that's pretty much how you're going to want to achieve the appropriate eye relief. So again, close your eyes, come onto the stock at a natural position, open your eyes, and then you're going to move the scope fore and aft to achieve the proper eye relief. After you've noted that, you're going to want to remove the scope in the rings, not moving it. Place it down on the table, on the work surface, and now we can start actually mounting the rings up to the scope. All right, so the scope has been dry fitted. I kind of snugged up the screws a little bit. It's still moving around loosely in the scope, but we wanted to first acquire the rough positioning of our eye relief. And now that it's back together and all the fasteners are kind of loosely in place, we're going to just reconfirm our cheek weld again. And that is appropriate. And once you've reconfirmed your cheek weld after all the fasteners are in place, now we can start actually finishing snugging them up and level the scope. So what we're going to do to level the scope is we're going to take our levels, and how this works is knowing that the Picatinny surface is a flat plane and that the top of the SPRM mounts are also a flat plane, basically geometrically perfect, we're going to place a bubble level on the top of the turret housing. And actually Leupold is an intelligent scope company, and they've given us a very, very flat and pretty large surface to put that bubble level. And then we can put another level on our ring pairs. And then what you want to do is you want to tilt the scope and cant the scope inside the mount such that the bubble is aligned with the bubble on the top of the ring itself. So you just want to match the bubble levels up by tilting the scope in the assembly. And this essentially guarantees that your reticle is straight up and down. And what that will do for you is when you add windage, you will be adding only windage. But if you have a skewed reticle and you add windage, you're going to be adding actually windage and elevation. So we want to make sure that we level the reticle. That's very important. And we do that by matching the bubbles and the levels. So once you've done that, then you want to finish snugging the mount up all the way, all the fasteners. And again, we would reconfirm once those are relatively tight with the levels again. just going to place these on here, make sure that those are actually in agreement with each other. They are. And then from here, you're going to take your inch-pound wrench, and we're going to go to 20 inch-pounds on the scope mount fasteners, on the actual optics fasteners, and 25 inch-pounds on the clamping, the Picatinny fasteners. And we're just going to apply torque intermittently to the fasteners, back and forth, just so that we get torque on there evenly distributed before we start snapping the wrench over itself. And again, it only takes a few seconds to keep checking your bubble levels, because as you add torque to fasteners, sometimes you can pull a scope out of level. So you just want to keep making sure that your bubble levels are in agreement, which they are. And now I can actually snap these fasteners over. And then we'll pull the optic off, and we will also torque the underside fasteners. And then we can mount the assembly to the rifle and snug all these fasteners up, and then change the torque setting on the wrench to 25 inch-pounds, and then finish mounting the actual optics assembly to the rifle. And one thing that you're going to want to do is, when you get this optics mount snugged up onto the Picatinny rail, you're going to want to load the optics mount forward so that the lugs are in engagement. What that does is, when you impart recoil to the scope through the firing sequence, it'll make sure that the scope is recoiling forward against the lugs, which it's already contacted, and so you're not going to have any drift with the scope. If you were to tighten up the scope backwards or not in contact with that lug surface, then as you fire, the scope is actually, it could drift forward, and that could change your point of impact. And so what I do as I snug these up is I just kind of apply forward pressure. I just kind of pull the scope forward to load the lugs as I tighten these things down. And then we'll just select this up to 25. And again, we want to snug all the bolts up before we start applying torque with the wrench. And then as a final check, what you're going to want to do is, again, use the bubble levels, make sure that your bubbles are in agreement with each other, which they are. And then you're going to want to test your cheek weld and make sure that when you open your eyes at its natural cheek position, that you have a nice clear sight picture with no edge aberration in the optics itself. So once you have your optics mount on there, if you wanted to add a secondary optic like this Leupold Delta Point Pro, just pick the appropriate interfacing plate. This is a right-hand plate, and I'm gonna position it forward of the turret housing on the right side, which is just where I want it. So I'm a right-handed shooter. And you're gonna snug these up a little bit, these two fasteners. And I do suggest using blue Loctite to get the optic onto the base plate, just because it's good insurance for your optic. Once these things are kind of dry fitted on there and it's wiggling around, that's when, if you looked at our other video on this installation where Austin actually uses a DRO and he kind of gets nerdy with it on the Bridgeport, basically what we found to eliminate runout and make it as straight as possible is you're going to add some pressure with your thumb opposing the screws at the center point between the screws. And then you're going, and on either side you can use, I'm gonna do it on the bottom so you guys can see what I'm doing. And you're just going to push that up against those screws and then alternating your tightening torque, you're going to cinch that up and keep applying a side load on those screws. And then we'll bring in 20 inch-pounds of torque. And there you go. So that is how you would install a secondary optic or a Picatinny interface or anything that you really want to be straight. There's going to be a few products that we're going to bring out where that doesn't really so much matter, but if you're talking about secondary optics and things that would interface an optic or a laser, you want it to be as straight as possible so that you have all of the adjustment range within that optic, and that's how you would do it as best practice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like us on Instagram, Facebook, check us out on YouTube, and if you hit our website, griffinarmament.com, you can subscribe to our newsletter where we have more feature-rich content like this for you guys. We love producing it. If you have any comments, questions at all, you can hit us up at customer service, which is found on our website, email, or phone, or you can drop in DMs or comments below and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Thank you for watching and happy shooting.